Those of you that have been here before know what comes next. If you're new, grab your remote and have your finger on the play button, but don't press it yet because we're going to do that at the same time on the count of 3. Everybody ready?
All set.
Ready.
All right.
Ready.
Oh yeah.
Okay, here we go. Intense episode in 3, 2, 1.
Here's how it is.
Mal opening.
Oh, this is a Mal opening.
Yes, sir. Wait, did you say the 10th episode? 9. Ariel.
And
Okay,
yeah,
thank
I
God.
said it's an intense episode.
Oh, I was like, man.
Oh, it's
How did I
definitely
miss one?
intense.
Is this is an intense episode?
Yeah, very.
Ooh.
So
Oh
real
wow.
good.
Okay. There's a death in this episode then.
Yeah, I
Is that your
died.
No
prediction?
comment.
I died. Don't tell
Or
me.
maybe
no.
this is when she starts, kicking and doing all her
Mary,
tricks.
it's over.
Backflips, backflips,
backflips.
cartwheels, somersaults. I'm predicting that this is the episode.
This is when we get to see breakdancing.
Yep.
Like break into electric boogaloo?
But not the robot. Not the robot. We're talking about real acrobatics.
Like you want her to lay down some cardboard, get the boombox out and go for it.
Yes. And not like, and I don't want her wearing a hat sideways either. Like I want it to be real, not a parody.
The hats are worn sideways in real life. What's wrong?
No, I'm sorry.
Do you remember who
I'm
those
sorry.
guys
Summer
were?
Glau wearing a hat sideways is a parody. I want it to be legit. I want her to really be like windmills into a head spin, back roll, like up.
Quick look, John, it's happening now. Just kidding.
They're playing mahjong. I want to play.
I'm pretty sure
Me
that there's
too,
a
I
ma-
wanna
I'm
learn.
pretty sure that there's a mahjong icon in our set.
I
wanna learn.
I need mahjong in my life.
I'm actually positive that there's a mahjong icon
There
in our
is.
set.
I do believe it's on the world.
It's a
Oh,
nice looking.
absolutely.
It's a nice looking one. Some of the icons that we have that were in that set to begin with before we started creating our own are really ugly, but some of them are really nice, and that one is.
Have we already started?
Yes,
Yes.
we have.
Yes, we have.
I didn't mean for you to hear me eating pretzel.
We're at 3 minutes.
Who hopes that Wash has a mustache in the movie? Me.
I see a lot of pants on Mal too.
Not Captain Tight Pants today.
It's just maybe his shirt's more. Yeah, see, it's like a lot of pants.
Yes, it's very high.
Usually there's a jacket, I guess.
Yes.
Remind me, I want to talk in the post show at some point. I want to talk about gravity on board these ships.
We'll try to remind you.
Oh,
Oh my God.
what?
He looks better in red.
Whoa. It's not quite what I was predicting, but we're getting close. We're getting close. Oh, I loved that scene so much.
I really
The
like
dialogue in that scene was so good. Oh, well.
Intrigue.
Intrigue for sure.
Oh my God, I think I just lost internet on my TV, so now I'm like,
They're doing the theme song, Lee.
They're doing the same theme song.
John can sing it for you if you're missing. No singing today, huh?
You can burn the land, you can boil the sea, but what can you do to the air? You can make it real hot, but I mean, you could make it as hot as I mean, you could make the air hot enough that it could cause blisters. Is platinum supposed to be very valuable out here in space?
Yes, sir.
Might
Even
have some problems
think-
with that.
Think D&D.
Yeah, but platinum's pretty abundant out in space. So this is like the Ocean's 11 episode, basically.
Of course it is.
I like it. I mean, he's really like having fun with various like subgenres, like throughout.
And
this
you
first season.
notice everybody wants to participate. They all raise their hands quickly.
Yeah, they're excited.
See what Wash has in his hand that he's throwing?
That was the tool, the thing that they were using on the.
It was the catalyzer that
The cat-
blew up in the other episode.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The catalyzer. Yeah. Is this out of order? Is this?
No.
Oh.
They just happened to be searching through junk, and that's what he picked up. If he was smart, he would have taken that too.
Yeah, I never wonder why he didn't grab.
What's the timestamp?
$11:33.
Thanks, I tried to get it, but it was too slow. Frog humping son of a bitch.
I saw shiny.
Yeah, I love that he says dilapidated instead of dial.
He's trying.
He tries hard.
I love that montage of them trying to remember.
Whoa.
He's taking it very seriously.
I like this future space hospital situation. See,
Looks like one of those car coffins you put all your camping gear on top
That's
of your
exactly what I think it was.
huh? Yeah. Now that you said that, it's
All that prep, and she's like, no more.
Yeah, lights off. Go ahead. You're good. See,
Jane remembered his line. He practiced so hard.
and the doctor's like, I didn't ask you.
it's like he couldn't relax until he said that line.
Can't believe he trusted Jane with that.
Dun dun dun.
She's such a ballerina. The way her toes are pointed, as she just a odd thing that I always know.
Maybe she's not okay. Lucky Simon was there and River noticed.
That's dangerous. I would just want to carry one of those around in my.
Clear.
Smart.
They're lucky he was there.
Yeah, I guess they couldn't leave him around. I wonder if Jane will feel guilty.
The big ape?
Well, maybe in a way he's trying to protect his crew from River going crazy and hurting anyone else.
I think he's greedy.
That's probably number one. But he did bring up Kaylee and the Nara getting hurt to Mel.
Well, he was sliced across the chest.
Right, right.
Still greedy.
Oh yeah, he didn't have to. He didn't have to turn him in for money. They could have placed them ever so gently on a planet, but Mal said no. That's cool.
You're right, Hunter. She does have the toe pointing thing going on.
Yeah, you can totally tell if she was dancing.
Looking out a dirty old window. Doesn't that feel like the opening to Kids in America?
Do you hear what he's saying?
I'm sensing some guilt there.
Now that song stuck in my head, John.
Adam Baldwin is 6'5". That other guy's got to be just as much, if not taller. This would be a perfect time for John's theory to be true.
She doesn't have a
I
six
want to
feet to
see
go off
some
of.
backflips. I want to see some backflips.
I was definitely expecting a brutal headbutting while he was cuffed.
I don't know if you can see it, but she's actually completely disgusted by what.
She doesn't like to fight, it seems.
No, she feels it all.
I wonder if she's gonna be able to control it at some point, and then suddenly, when we least expect it, backflips, somersaults, cartwheels,
And beatboxing.
and no beatboxing, no beatboxing, no popping and locking,
Oh my
no
God.
robot. That's
Hunter,
nonsense.
I love.
Ooh, ouch.
Blue
That was
hand.
that was very poltergeist.
They're here.
I was thinking the two blue hand. Yeah, there they are.
This guy's not creepy looking.
Not at all. His solid eye contact is pleasant.
That's what it is. It's that his eye. He's got these piercing, bright blue eyes, both of them.
Unless if you talk to the prisoners, you get to have an aneurysm or something. Ew, worse than that.
There's McGinnis's reward.
A little gory.
That looks like not a fun way to die.
Good old alliance. I'm sure it's all innocent.
Yeah, they're just a nice, they work together with people kind of alliance.
Also good.
Did they need to do that? I thought they were cooperating.
They talk to the prisoners. Come on, you can't talk to the prisoners and get away with it.
2 by 2 hands of blue.
Hey. That was kind of awesome.
Hunter, don't they kind of look like gentlemen?
Oh,
Men in Black.
I was just looking at.
The
Yeah,
gentlemen?
they're like Men in Black, but they don't have a fun little flashy thing that just makes you forget stuff.
Exactly. Instead it scrambles.
They
your
have
brain.
a fun little noise maker that makes you bleed out your eye.
Even their fingernails were bleeding.
This episode's got a very X-Files feel to it.
Yeah. This stuff is scary to me in a hospital, in a robe running.
Oh, I mean, hospitals can be a super creepy, like they can provide some really great creep factor.
It's full of
Cow sucking.
2 by 2. 2 by 2. Do these guys know how to fight?
I think they just.
They don't need it to fight. They've got their little pointy thingy.
Oh yeah, the family. Maybe those guys have to be in a certain range to use their crazy powers.
But
Yeah,
they don't
these
wanna
guys
use
are
it on River,
these guys
though.
are definitely kind of inspired by the Matrix, right?
Maybe I can look to see what the little insert thingies say here.
River's got some premonition gift. They seem to have like, or one of them has some telekinetic ability to maybe hurt somebody from the inside.
Ooh, I bet that she was being turned into one of them,
Oh, that's interesting to think. Yeah.
right? I think that's what it was. I think that they're creating these like, I think it's the super soldier trope. I think that they are creating sort of these like special soldiers that have this like, extra ability. I like that. It's not a super common thing that you see in sci-fi, but you see it occasionally. This like, this like a certain species of alien or certain people have this like ability to like use telekinetic powers as though that's some advanced technology that we don't have yet. I like that trope. Oh,
Oh, Jane.
I love that. I mean, we talked about that, about how he like kind of deep down wants to be a hero.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
And
And-
there's that.
Mal's not happy.
what
He
happened here?
He
I
tapped.
think
he
he
knows.
missed a little action happening in the middle there, John, if you don't know what.
Kaylee picked up that transmission. She probably decoded it in him ratting them out.
Oh,
Now they're gonna threaten to airlock him.
you're talking about when he talks to that guy on the little camera?
they're-
The
Yes,
Fed.
Jane
Yes.
was turning them over.
Oh,
Jane was
I
gonna-
thought,
that they're
for whatever reason, I thought that was part of the plan.
No,
No, he was
he's
turning them
leading
in.
them- He's leading them to the Fed so he can get paid, and the Fed turned on him.
I actually thought that was all part of the plan, and that he was just trying to get out of it in the moment when.
Nope.
Listen to this conversation.
I don't know what he's gonna do.
It's all about loyalty to him. Loyalty and family. He
Oh,
looks
that's
like
kinda
his
cool.
eyes a little teary.
Oh, his heart's broken.
Can I knit in from the out now?
No, he's in timeout for a while.
Russian nesting dolls.
Uh-oh.
You figured out what to make her feel better.
Yeah, I was thinking, I don't know if there's a way to fix what
Yeah.
they,
Well, fix, but I think fix could come with more than just fix.
maybe more of a treatment, like a way of living with.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like she's gonna not be extraordinary still. I think that it's not like this is gonna remove her what makes her extraordinary. It's gonna help her
Do
wake
cartwheels
up.
and
as she's-
backflips?
Well,
I just
I
want,
haven't gotten there yet, but
I just hope he has like
but
some
yes.
independence where she doesn't have to have a caretaker at all times.
Yeah, that's what I think it's gonna be like a treatment that will allow her to think clearly again, and it will, and then it will, combined with her extraordinary abilities and maybe even some stuff she learned there, will make her basically the most powerful character in the entire on the crew, and she'll probably be able to do some of the stuff that those guys can do. She might even be able to throw things with her mind. She'll definitely be able to fight. I mean, and very well. And it's going to be exciting.
Predictions.
I think the part that was a little hazy to me was that whole montage where they were like learning everything that they had to do. So when I got to that part with the guy where he was talking to the guy on the TV, I guess there was a little part of me that was kind of like, is he ratting them out? But the way that it was sort of, I guess the way that it was treated, it felt like, because of all of the fast paced of everything else around, that it was just part of the plan. I guess for whatever reason, I just kept going with it as it was just part of the plan. And then of course, yeah, when he was like, what about me? What happened to me? At that point, I thought Jane was just saving his ass in the moment.
Remember in the pilot, Jane had Mal turned to him and said something because Jane was being a jerk, and he's like, the money wasn't good enough, and Mal asked him, what happens when it is? Well,
Right.
this
Yeah,
is what
so
happened.
this is what
The
happened.
money was good enough.
It's an interesting day.
I think
Right.
he was thinking, I'm turning against these two people, the siblings. I'm not turning against Mal because the money wouldn't be good enough in that situation. But Mal said, you turned your back on me.
Well, because Mal considers them part of the crew, and Mal wasn't there to get wrapped up in it. It was just him and the siblings.
Yeah, but regardless, if it was the siblings or if it was Mal or whatever, I mean, it's very clear that even Mal himself has a price on his head that is high enough that Jane would probably betray him for it. It might not have been this. This might not have been quite the threshold for betraying Mal, but in Jane's mind, he wasn't really betraying Mal. He was betraying the siblings, and the money was plenty to do that. But you do definitely get a sense from this, like that Jane hasn't really learned. They kind of, the ending kind of tries to suggest that the fact that he doesn't want the crew to know what he did means that he actually has a conscience, right? Because if he dies, like, what does it matter? What does it matter? He's dead. If he really truly didn't care about the crew, it wouldn't really matter what they thought of him. He's dead, and that's that, you know. But if there's a part of him that believes that, like, I don't know, maybe that there's an afterlife, that there's, you know, that you don't want to leave the world with that, you know, sort of being somebody who's done something like that, then that means that there is a moral, that there's some moral compass that can be fine-tuned with Jane, and that over time he could actually develop a set of morals and a conscience in that regard. I think that's what has Mal save him at the end, not necessarily because he thinks that Mal won't betray him. I'm pretty sure that, like, if in an hour Jane were to get some message saying, like, massive amount of money that's just absolutely insane, betray Mal, and it looks pretty good, like he could get away with it, I think that Jane's still there. He would probably betray Mal.
I don't know, because remember in the movie when that agent said
What
about
movie?
the money,
We,
He
what
said,
movie?
We haven't
What
watched
movie?
movie.
the pilot we all watched.
Oh,
The movie, yeah, the pilot did feel like a movie.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
But-
what movie?
Okay,
But
no,
Jane-
because the
yeah,
movie
sorry, the
is
pilot.
named Serenity, so it does get confusing. But
It is really
But Jane-
confusing. They're
but
both
Jane-
called Serenity, and they're both
He's-
long as long as movie.
He said that, tell me one thing, do I have to betray my captain? Without the talk of how much money. The guy said, talking about, do you know how much money, you know, you could have your own ship and all these other things. Like, he didn't even give him an actual amount. But the guy, Jane said, do I have to turn on my captain? Like, that's the done deal. I'm not doing it. I don't care what number. That's the kind of feeling I got when he did that.
I didn't really get that sense. I got sort of the sense of you know, like, but turning on his captain would absolutely be a very difficult task for him to do. And he'd want to make sure that the money was right for that. That was also the same movie in which Mal did sort of put that to him, like, you know, why didn't you? And he said the money wasn't good enough. And that's when he was like, and what if it was? And he was like, well, that'd be an interesting day. I don't think that day has come. I don't know if that day will ever.
A whole planet, a town, like, you know,
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know exactly what it is, but I do get a sense that I do personally get a sense at this point that Jane is not there yet. He's not there with his conscience yet, and I think that he probably would betray Mal if the price was right. And I don't know what that price is. Sounds like it wasn't what that guy was offering. You know, but I mean, I could imagine that it could be big enough that Jane would take it.
I wonder how much actually the amount is for the siblings, especially since there's two of them together and they're alive, all those things. Like, what would you have gotten a ship? Would you have gotten more than that? Like, I just never heard an amount in their currency.
Yeah, I don't really know exactly what their currency is. All I know is
I
that
just want
there's
to point out that the policeman said he was going to get a reward for 3 fugitives. So even Jane has a reward amount on him.
Oh, we all do, right? I just assume everyone except for Inara unless they wanted to
Well, they're considering them all
harboring a fugitive or
fugitives.
something. They could get Inara for harboring a fugitive, lying and keeping fugitives safe. They could associate her with that, and even the creature, like everyone on the ship, they could associate with that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting that this came after Jamestown. Like, we saw him being celebrated and loved and everything. And even in this episode, he loves being hailed as like a hero when Simon thanked him. But I wonder if he even really thought about what the end plan was after he turned them in. Because obviously everyone would know, that he was the one that turned them in once he got money. Like, would he quit the crew? He wouldn't have to be there anymore.
He
So
might have
they would
shared it
know
with
that
the
he
crew.
betrayed them.
No, he
Yeah,
might have
but they
shared it
wouldn't-
with the crew.
They wouldn't have
Thinking that
wanted
they-
that money, and Mal would have kicked him off the ship for sure. So what was his end game in that? Like, they would know that
That's such a
betrayed
good
them.
point. That's
He
such a
didn't
good
think
point. It's
about
like,
it.
Yeah,
It's like,
that part of
what would
it.
he have done? Let's follow that through. Let's say that the guy gave him the money, like gave him a ton of money. Would he leave the crew?
Or
didn't
would
halfway
act like
through
he
the
did-
plan. I'm sorry, I'm confused because I thought like halfway through the plan he was like he changed his mind. No, he wasn't going to turn it in.
No,
change
he
his
was
mind. He didn't
definitely
change his
going to.
mind.
He
The
looked like he
Alliance
was guilty.
arrested him. The Alliance arrested him and didn't give him the money. They said that they were arresting him for harboring and abetting.
No,
aiding
I
and
know,
abetting.
I know. But before that, he was like, change of plans, let's go. I thought he was trying. I thought he was.
Saying because Mal had said that we would meet back at a specific spot. Simon said, I thought we were going the other direction. And that's when he said, no, Mal changed the plans. We're going to go a different way, which is the
Oh.
way where the feds were.
that
So
changed
he
the
was
plan
he
and riding them
so the change of plans is him bringing them to the feds so he can get paid.
Did Mal
So-
pick up on that because they went to the back door, or because Kaylee picked up
The ducks.
the ducks?
They were waiting for about an hour and they hadn't shown up.
But
So Mal,
Mal
knew
was
something
going to
was
the
wrong.
back door just to be able to get into the station, though he picked up on Jane's betrayal because Jane was at the back door. So he was like, what were you guys doing heading towards the back door?
yeah,
Simon and River wouldn't have gone there by themselves. You guided them. So what were you doing guiding them there?
I thought maybe Kaylee had, after some time, was able to tap into the message, and it wasn't just about ducks. It was, the message Jane to the Fed and everything. I thought maybe she exposed them, and then I thought maybe the whole crew knew.
Nope.
Hey, Mary, can I ask you what your, like, if we were to play it out and things were to happen differently, what you think Jane's end game would have been, not necessarily what he was thinking it was going to be, but can you imagine if they had been like, good work, Jane, here is your reward, and just like drop just like some just insane load of platinum is just so ridiculous, but platinum there in front of him, and he was suddenly in great shape. What does he do at that point?
I think
They haul the two siblings away, and they're like, thank you, sir, here it is, we'll be seeing you, hope you have a great day.
I think he goes back to the ship and tells them what he's done, thinking he's going to rain money on their heads. And when they can't bear him, he goes off to have his own, to try and get his own crew. He gets his own ship, he gets his own crew, and tries to recreate what he had, and realizes, like, if it's one of those things like money can't buy happiness.
I'm
And I think
100% with you.
it would take him trying to recreate what he had on the Serenity to realize he can't recreate it. And it was such a unique situation. But he would go back thinking they're all going to be so pleased by how much money he's brought them and
Okay,
how he's gotten
okay.
rid of these pests from him.
All right, so wait, okay, that's good. So now let's move the action to that moment. We already know that Mal, how Mal feels about him having even tried to do it. In this version, he's actually done it. You're suggesting that Jane comes in with all this money, completely expecting that everyone's going to be super happy by that platinum. But based on what we saw here, an unsuspecting Jane, which is what you're describing, definitely gets knocked in the face by a wrench.
No, he gets killed. Mal will kill him.
Or
Like,
kills. So
No, I don't
No.
think he'll kill him. I think the crew is going to be so focused on trying to go and rescue River and Tam, they're just going to leave him behind. Like he's not going to be worth their attention at that point. They're just going to throw
Really?
him off and be like,
a
"What's our
huge
plan?
thing,
What are we
really?
doing?"
I
Really?
think
A huge thing of
I
plat-
don't.
a
I
huge thing
think
of
he's gonna
platinum.
leave him off on a planet close to Reaper territory and just let him go. But I think that he's
There's no way that they
definitely-
would let him go with that money. There's no way. And I think that intuitively Jane would know how mad Mal would be. So I actually am with you up until the part where he goes back to Mal to rain money on them, thinking that it's all going to be good. I say he takes the money and he doesn't even flirt with the idea of going back to them, at risk that he could have a gun pointed at him, step away from the money, you're going out the airlock, or we're dropping you on this planet. He's like, I'm not even risking it. I don't think he's that dumb that he would just take the money. He would just take the money and go do exactly what you're describing, which is go off, get his own ship, get his own crew, and then realize how miserable he is because he made such a terrible decision.
Yeah, and I think in some ways that he may not have even thought that far ahead. He was just seeing dollar signs and an easy way to get it, plus get rid of people who were causing him problems. And he was just upset because she just slashed him across the chest because she thought he'd look better in red. And so I think in some ways he wasn't even thinking that far ahead. So,
Yeah.
but I do agree with your guys' theories that either he would have gone back on there being like, hey guys, look what I did good, right? Or he would have just taken off and tried to do his own crew thing.
But see,
Right.
I actually do think he would go back because he's that naive. And I think no one would take the money because it's blood money to them. Just like when they changed their mind on the medicine with the train job, they returned the money. Like they didn't want to keep the money. They didn't want anyone to come after them.
But why would they let him keep it? They would hold on to it, maybe give it to somebody else. But why would they let him keep it? It's totally money that was taken at the expense of one of their crew members. I mean, at the very least, it's money that that represents something. Why let the person who did that go away with it if you can, you know? Like I just don't see Mal being like, get out of here and take your money.
I think
with
Mal
you. Take your
would've killed him.
massive amount of money
Yeah.
with you. I think Mal would have been like, get out of here. You're lucky that I don't shoot you in the head. And think about what you did, you know, and then Mal might then drop that money off at like that place that they were at, you know, earlier in one of the earlier episodes, that town, give all the money to that guy and be like, hey, you know, help use this to help the people, you know, your fellow citizens and all of that stuff, you know.
I feel like Mal would, if he didn't shoot him, he would drop him off somewhere, maybe with like, quote, his cut of it, you know, and then keep the rest to go try to rescue River and Simon, because they would be in a governmental facility. They would need resources.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't just leave them, I don't think. So I think he would use that money to try to get them back and maybe give it to them to live a life incognito somewhere. Like, I don't feel like he would just keep it or give it away. He would try to use it to go get them.
That's my favorite theory. He would leave
I
him.
still think Mal would have just killed Jane when Jane
I
came
think that-
back thinking he did them all a favor.
Same.
I'd be fine with that. I'm fine with that theory, Hunter, except that I think his cut is like 1 bar of platinum. Here you
Yeah.
go. This
Nothing
should
like a bus ride.
yeah, this should be enough for you to get a bus fare to, you know,
Yeah.
to whatever, and you can start working your way back up again. But that's all you get.
Exactly.
That's why I think
that's
they're
his cut.
going to drop him off in Reaver territory, because there are still places on the rim where he could survive. He won't survive happily, but it's still going to be something for him to work his way through.
We're on episode 9. We've still got 4 more episodes. No, we've got 5 more episodes in a movie, right?
There's a movie after this.
Yeah, full.
Yeah.
We got a full
watched
length
the movie.
feature. It's called Serenity.
Yeah, it was in the movie theaters. We have like a movie theater movie.
So the pilot wasn't the movie?
No.
The pilot was a 2-hour pilot, which was a very popular format back in like the early aughts. Was, it was popular for like Sci-Fi Channel and like a lot of these science fiction type shows to begin with a 2-hour pilot that was very often broken up across 2 nights and treated kind of like a mini series, or sometimes they even would do a mini series, like 5 nights of a mini series that would be kind of the pilot of the show, and then they would go into the actual series. And that's what that pilot was made to be.
They did that with V. Do you remember the movie V?
Yeah, they did that.
Which Moreno was in?
Well, RV, Lisa, the V from the 80s you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yup.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like the prototype of that. Was
was amazing.
That show. Yeah. But that's what they did. That's what they meant to do with the 2-hour pilot that we watched. But they actually didn't end up airing that first. They ended up airing that last. But that was the intention, was for it to be like, kind of an introduction to the show through a sort of 2-hour like television event, But then the series went off the air, and then the fans really like pushed the studio network to give them a movie, and so, or to wrap things up, and so that was wrapped up years later in an actual theatrical release in the movie theater, like a
it was like
movie.
3 hours. 3 years later,
Yeah.
the fans had been sending in so much fan mail, and we wound up getting them to do a full-length feature film.
Yeah.
So there's 5 more episodes of the TV show, right? Of Firefly, and then we have Serenity, the movie. Is
Yes,
that
which
correct?
the movie
Yeah.
came out a few years later. So it's not, it didn't come out right after the series ended.
It came out
so
in 2005, so 3 years later.
I didn't know.
So
I thought we already went through the movie. Now I'm super psyched.
No, I got
Yeah,
you,
no,
girl.
we've got a full movie. We're going to do that as like a weekend movie night. So we'll end this. We usually have a Monday. It's a Monday and a Thursday episode for this. But the week that we end this series, it's going to be a pretty epic Firefly week. We're going to have a Monday episode. Then we're going to have 2 Thursday episodes, right? We're going to have 11 and 12 on Thursday. 13 and 14 are going to be on Friday. And then on Saturday night, we're going to watch Serenity, the movie.
And you won't regret a minute of it, let me tell you.
Not at all.
Well, I'm imagining that the movie is probably, first of all, the budget, huge, like comparatively to the TV show. So the VFX are probably awesome. The action is probably awesome. And the script is probably awesome.
So it's just better Firefly.
It's just better Firefly, I'm sure. Yeah.
It's
So do we
super
want to
exciting.
talk about
this show's
2 by 2
really
Hands of Blue?
Yeah, I mean, that's very Agent Smith, very X-Files, it's a fun trope. I like that. I like these, like, these weird nameless agent-y type weirdo people that are chasing you and are very ominous.
After the movie, I will explain who they are, because it does say in the comics.
But I think that that Rivers being turned into something like them. And I'm guessing that the silence means that I'm probably not that far off.
I'm sorry. I had
I
my
was on
husband
mute.
come in. I didn't even hear what you asked.
I bet
I
it's a
was-
movie.
I was
That's
just
when she
waiting
gets
to-
a somersaulty.
I just
We-
wasn't responding because everybody keeps talking at the same time. So sorry. I don't know if you're right or not, John. I don't know how to like say if I can agree or disagree with that. But I do enjoy hearing your predictions of what you think is going to become of her.
Well, I do think that now that she's going to start, this treatment is going to start to clarify her mind. She's going to stop all of the, or not stop, but the weird talking is going to, you know, be drastically reduced over the course of the next 5 episodes. And she's going to surprise us with some extraordinary abilities that are not just like, you know, mental abilities, like, you know, or like not just like intellectual abilities. Like I could see her throwing something with her mind. I could really truly see her like picking up some object with her mind and throwing it across the room at them, or like bullets flying at her and she stops them in midair. I could also see her being very good at fighting. And I could also see that by the movie, the treatment is so much more effective that she's almost a different person in the movie, in the upcoming movie, because 3 years will have passed. I could see that. Oh, that would be cool.
Could I just ask, while we were watching the episode, people were talking about the 2 by 2 Hands of Blue having special powers. What powers do you guys think they possess?
I think
And
they were
why-
mixing
I
up
just meant-
their little
Nick-
device with mind control. Because they were
Yeah.
using a device that gave off some kind of like signal or something that caused the brain to do whatever it was doing, the body to do something. I think people thought that was a mind control thing, and it wasn't. It was that little thing the guy was holding in his hand, and when he would click it on, it would make some noise, and it would like cause them to
Yeah, it was sonic
have that internal
vibrations.
I must have missed that part. So
Yeah, it was
The-
a high frequency. I'll take a picture, Jen, of what it was, and I'll send you so you can.
okay, all right. I thought, are we talking men with the blue hands?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
one
Yeah,
of the less
was like
creepy
a
looking
more of a-
one.
Souped up natural.
Yeah, no, the one that looked a little less creepy was holding a device that was causing that to happen.
Less creepy, like which one?
Well, the
Does it
first
still
one, the
does it
older
still
looking one.
does it still cancel out, or does that still rule out the possibility that River has we know she has psychic abilities. Like that's just true. We know it. That has already been revealed to us. She's able to sense things before they're going to happen.
But also
Okay.
past, remember, because she sensed Ruby's trauma in that last world. She can do past and future.
She can do past, she can do
And-
future, she can predict things that are going to happen, and she can also feel things that are going to happen, which is a slightly different power, right? Like the ability to like precognition is different from like somebody who has like empath abilities to actually feel the abilities of somebody else. Both like part of like the science fiction trope of the super mental ability person. And there's a third one that is also a part of that. We'll call it the triumvirate. And that is, I can move things with my mind. The silence is deafening.
Oh no, sorry. I'm
Which
I'm just joking. I know everybody is like, everybody's doing Christmas cookies right now or something. I'm just fooling. I recognize that all of the stuff that I'm saying is like it's a small percentage chance that it's going to come true, except the part about River can fight. I am so convinced that we are going to see, I mean, I call it a backflip, a somersault, a cartwheel. It could just be a roundhouse kick, you know? But I'm just convinced we're going to see it. You know, I just am convinced we're going to see it. It just feels like it's right.
So like if he gets like one really sloppy roundhouse kick or something, does that?
No, it does not count. It's
Okay.
gotta be dope. It's gotta be like, yes, like that. It has to elicit that feel.
So what do you
if it's
think?
just a sloppy, everybody in the room is is punching, or and everybody gets a hit in, and she happens to get one in, and that's fun because she never gets one in. No, that does not qualify. It has to be, we have to be like, oh wow.
John wants to see Ninja River. That's what he wants to see, not I happen to get in a punch river.
So if this theory is true and she is able to do that, do you think maybe when the movie was being premiered, they were showing maybe the smallest glimpse premiere of that actress doing some sort of roundhouse or something, and maybe we just got it? Because I have it in my head too that she's going to do some sort of.
You think it was
athletic,
in a trailer? I don't.
Oh,
I
maybe.
don't think there's
You might be
anything.
right. You might be right about that. If there's a trailer with River doing a backflip, that might be where I'm seeing a backflip. But I'm
feel the
convinced
same.
that she's going to do a backflip.
I feel like she's gonna look like a badass, and there's this look in her eye where she's serious, like I'm gonna kick your ass, and that's where I've got it in my mind.
I don't often feel more confident about something as I do about this. I've had a lot of theories throughout the Gilmore Girls watch. Some have been right, some have been wrong. Some I felt very convicted, but this one is like no other. If it doesn't happen, I'm gonna question my ability to understand narrative.
I hope it does, John. I don't want you to be disappointed.
It just, it all, it's like, why do they need her? Like, what's so big about her? Like, what's so important about her? Like, if you just start to ask that question, you just eventually get to something that is super soldier like.
Yeah, I agree. I also think, they were hoping that there was going to be a second season, and I'm not so sure it was going to happen in the first season. Like maybe if it continued.
Oh, right.
So who knows?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Then when did they find out they weren't coming back? Like when was it clear? Because sometimes
They were told while they were
there's
filming
rumblings
the
happening.
episode, The Message.
They were told when
They were filming the episode titled The Message.
And what episode
In a
is
few
that?
more episodes. It's not.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened.
Oh, okay. So they had already but Joss is smart enough to know that the chances of a second season are never foolproof. And so he would have had to have ended season 1 thinking it's probably unlikely because of, me coming off of Buffy and things being really, exciting for me. And there's a big show and they're putting a lot of money behind it, but I have to be safe and at least have the first season come to some arc that is in some way satisfying. Otherwise, we could be in big trouble with
Right. But they didn't even give him a chance to finish the season. It was just like, okay, we're done. So like they had to like hurry up. And I get what you're saying, but like
I'm talking about when he sat down to write it.
Gotcha.
I just mean when he sat down to write it. When he sat down to write it, I don't think he couldn't have been thinking that I want to leave the final episode so incredibly cliffhangery that it requires a second season, because your first season is so vulnerable to being canceled. It's such a, it doesn't matter how big of a celebrity you are, how successful you are, like in the back of your mind, you're thinking, if I don't wrap this up, there's a chance that it could be canceled. And then I have a bigger problem, which is this like unfinished story out there. And at the very least, I need to tie some things up here at the end of the first season and not leave it. Later seasons, you have way more luxury if a show gets further in and is really, really successful, you have way more luxury to decide whether or not you want to end your season in a way that like really requires that people come back the next season to find out what happens next.
But I think
But-
Hunter's point is he didn't even get a full, like it got canceled before he was
Yeah, I
able
know,
to
but he,
finish.
I know, but
writing.
he did, he had to
He
have
didn't
written-
write a full season.
Yeah, he
Well,
didn't write the
because it
full.
was more-
series.
It was supposed to be a
beyond
22
13,
episode season. He only got to 14.
14. Yeah,
Oh,
and
well, then that proves my point even more, because if he was still writing the episodes, then he would have had to have thought, okay, I need to, unless there are scripts out there for the next episodes, that he never got produced. But if he was told before he started to write the final episode that we will see this season, then there's no question about it. He would have sat down to write that last one with the thought, I have to wrap this up in some way.
well, I think it's unfortunate that he wasn't on the same network with this show as he was with Buffy and Angel, because he got 5 of Buffy, 7 of Buffy, 5 of Angel, and
Yeah.
this network Fox at that time when this was airing, Fox was kind of notorious for just abruptly canceling things. And usually the only thing they didn't cancel was reality shows. So anybody who had a show on Fox was risking losing their show back in the early 2000s. And that's just really kind of unfortunate, the way that whoever was running that network at the time just kind of was, well, let's just chop this and keep that. And sometimes they kept things, you just wondered, why'd they keep that and got rid of that other thing over there? So it's just
Kind of like
like
sci-fi
Ally
now.
McBeal. Yeah.
By the way, you might talking
Why was
about
that on as long as it was? I don't.
with Buffy.
Why were there
There-
so many Sharknadoes?
What were you saying, Jen?
With Buffy, there was that episode, The Guardians.
Yeah,
Those-
We can't talk about Buffy. We're gonna be watching that next.
Well, I'm sorry. But
No,
I was just
I mean we've been told before not to talk about Buffy episodes.
Um,
You can message me privately if you want.
me
okay.
too.
Okay, yeah.
So anyway, so we don't spoil Buffy stuff for those of you who wanted to watch Buffy with us. Because we were asked earlier not to talk Buffy. Yeah, so John, Hunter and I were talking a little bit back channel about how if we had watched Buffy before Firefly, some of this narrative, some people might have been able to follow a little more, knowing how Joss's shows go. But I felt like some of you guys were having a little trouble following what was happening in the middle of this episode, or were confused by what was happening, or maybe I just was confused by the conversation.
Well,
I don't know.
the section where they were going through all of the, like, where it was like they were learning their lines and all of that kind of stuff. Admittedly, that was when Babsy came in with Josie, and I was half focused on the episode and half focused on Josie and Babsy for a moment. But other than that, I got everything. I just missed that one part. What wasn't clear enough for me, and I think that's because I assumed that I probably just missed something in the in the section where they're rehearsing that like would have explained that moment to be more of a part of the plan. But now that I think about it, it's kind of silly that doesn't create any tension whatsoever if it was just part of the plan. But other than that, I got everything. It was good. It was, it was very, very classic, like, bank robbery type episode. It was very cool that the stash, like what they were actually getting was like a bunch of medicine, which is cool. You rarely ever see that kind of bank robbery genre being presented in that way. I liked it. I liked the episode.
I found that scene funny when they were taking the medicine and she's looking through, she's like, oh yeah, we need this and we need this. And he's like throwing everything.
Well, but he
Mal
was he had a
sheet on his
he had it
arm.
written on his arm.
I know, but it looked like he was just throwing everything in.
Yeah, she was being kind of neat about it, and he was
Right.
just
Tossing them all in the blue bin.
Yeah.
And putting them in the thing,
And the irony is that he took the pen away from Jane, who was trying to write stuff on his arm, but then he went and wrote what he needed on his arm.
Well,
Did I
I
lose
just
the
want to
room?
circle back. I just want to circle back real quick to the earlier when you guys were giving your theories of what would have happened if Jane came back with money. And in short, my theory, what I've always thought is if Jane had turned them over and had gotten the money and had gone back, that Mel would have just killed him. Because I don't think he would have put up with that. I think he just would have gotten rid of him and they would have gone back and maybe tried to get Simon and River if they could, or they just would have had to move on. But I don't think Jane would have survived bringing that money back to the crew, thinking that he was doing them a favor.
I'm 100% with you on that. I as much as I would want to romanticize Mal being the the rogue with a heart of gold and and all of that kind of stuff, and even though I care about the Jane character now because I've spent so much time with them, realistically, not a chance. He's dead.
Do you
Period.
think he actually turned on them because River slashed his chest?
No, I think Jane's an idiot and he's wanted to get rid of them the whole time. And he thought this would be a good opportunity to do it and make it look like, one, either they just got caught, or two, he was doing the crew a favor and that they would see that after the fact when they didn't have to deal with hiding from the Alliance with them. That's what I think. I think Jane didn't think it through. I think he was just being his idiot self, only thinking about money and greed. And that's just what I personally think. And that's what I thought in the past when I watched the show, if he had succeeded, what might have happened. But I think if he had succeeded and he came back, if he was dumb enough to go back, I think Mel would have killed him. So
Yeah,
I don't think he would have thought about it. He would have been like, those were two of his crew. He went behind Mel's back. Mel specifically told him they weren't going to turn him in a number of times up to this point. And it would have just been going against anything and everything that Mel has told Jane in the past. And so what does Mel do when people do that? We've seen it. He shot a guy as he walked on the boat. He kicked a guy into an engine. He doesn't have a problem killing people. He'll do it when it's necessary. And I think he would have thought that necessary. And not only would Jane be turning them in, he's putting the rest of them at risk by he's being an identified person who got a reward. And he's on that ship with them. He puts all the rest of them at risk too. So why would they keep him around? I'd kill him and I'd leave, because then they wouldn't be able to trace him back to Mel's ship. If they're, there's just weird stuff like that.
yeah, I
just being
definitely,
more-
I definitely,
she'll kill you.
I definitely agree that Jane just didn't think it through. But I also don't even know if he would bring the money back to the rest of them. I think he would just take it and go.
Yeah.
And I wonder, is he really thinking that they would be okay with this and that he would be able to, I can't even imagine, he has to know that if he does this, he's not getting back on that ship. Did I lose everyone?
No,
you're good. I think we're all just
I agree with that.
I also think he didn't think it through, and also I think it just bugged him that Simon had this whole plan, and he doesn't like Simon very much. So he was like, "I'm gonna try to turn him in."
we haven't really talked about Simon this episode, with him saving the other patient. And River, well, of course she saw that he could save the patient and everything, but he's obviously a very talented doctor. So while he was, trying to figure out where River was and figure out a way to rescue her and his plan and everything, he was still plugging away at being a doctor and obviously was very successful at it. He's really, really smart.
He's genius. But
Yeah, also at the end, when the guys were checking if this one's dead or if this one's alive, the guy that he put out was still alive, right? He didn't kill him.
Right.
Right. The guy that Jane attacked was dead, and the guy that I couldn't tell if he killed him or not, but then the guys came in with those machines or whatever those were, and he's like, this one's still alive. Was that the one that he knocked out?
That's the one that Simon knocked out. And my theory on why he didn't kill him is because he's a doctor. And
Yes.
you're supposed to help and not do
That's
no harm.
exactly what I was thinking, because I was thinking he just saved a life and now he's going to kill someone. You know what I mean? So when they came by and was like, this one's still alive, I was like, oh, okay. He didn't kill him.
Yeah, that's just against his nature. He's very
Yeah, and even River was like, you should be working here. Like, you should be saving lives in a hospital like that.
Yeah, you could tell that she feels guilty for him not being able to do that, because she feels like he's spent his time always taking care of her, ensuring that she's all right. So he hasn't been able to pursue his real wants and desires as far as his career and life and everything.
He left his career to save her, is what he did.
Right.
And now he can't ever go back to it because he did that. And she's aware of that. I mean, there was an episode earlier on where she told him she knows what's going on, that she's, she kind of tried to tell him, I'm here. I know what's happening. I understand things, even if I don't seem like I do. And I think that Simon forgets that, as well as the rest of them somehow.
Yeah, I know. I like, as a viewer, I definitely do forget that she understands.
I know what
Gonna-
John thinks, but does anybody else want to have any predictions as to why they did what they did to her brain? Because it was a very interesting explanation how Simon says, anytime you want to put something aside or push it aside, she can't. She has to feel everything.
I have a weird prediction.
What's that, Jen?
Let's hear it.
Like that movie Minority Report, where they have that precog person that sat there and just would predict things. I think they were trying to turn her into something with no filter, and that could just predict things or do things and have her be some sort of vessel.
Like an intelligence or an oracle type thing?
Oracle kind of computer situation where she's just like an information machine, input, output, and that's it.
Ooh, I like
That's
that.
good.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Especially
I like
since
that
they
almost
said there
better
are
than-
more
I
of
like
them.
that
I
almost
never
better
thought of
than the fighting machine.
Because I haven't seen her fight yet. I want to. I want to see her fight too, though.
Oh, I so want to see her fight.
Well, it's that's definitely an interesting theory, and would kind of go along with what Simon is saying about removing that filter so that she can feel everything. Because not only is it her own feelings, the impression he gives, we see her feel other things. And I mean, if you really if you went back and rewatched the episodes we watched, you'll see things in the early episodes, even the first few, where she's indicating that something's about to happen, but we just thought she's being crazy before, but really she's reacting to what is about to happen. And
I think
in those later episodes, and we like she did with this guy who was about to die, we saw her predict that.
You remember when Book got hurt and she was dancing, have a good time? I think she had a certain imprint with people, and then once she's connected to them, she can feel them from afar. And he was hurt, and he said we have a rapport in the next episode. So, the one we watched after that. So I don't know, I noticed they have some sort of tie.
Yeah, she seems to react to a lot of different things, whether it be physical or just other things happening around there. So I don't know. That I like your theory in that regard, that would be why they would do what they did. Would really make sense.
I just want to remind people you got 5 minutes left to harvest.
Thanks for that.
So 5 episodes to go, 1 movie. Are you excited to see how this all comes to close? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller?
No,
Uh,
not at
I
all.
don't-
I'm
I don't-
excited, but I can't really
Pure.
vouch for.
Well, I don't want to think that I mean, we've got 5 more episodes. I mean, this is episode 9. I mean, it's not like we're that close to the end of the season.
But it's gonna fly by because you schedule 2 a week. I'm just thinking about how it's just not that far away. I'm
So
excited.
the last 2, we're doing a double feature before the movie, you said, or?
Yeah, the last two nights, both Thursday and Friday, I believe, is a double feature. It's 11 and 12 on Thursday and 13 and 14 on Friday.
Okay.
Oh,
So
we
we
get 2 days in a row.
And
Yeah,
then a
pretty
week?
sure. Take a look at the calendar and make sure.
No, no.
I think it's just
uh,
one on Thursday.
Okay.
Thursday's 12, Fridays 13 and 14.
Okay,
and
great.
then Saturdays.
Okay, I got that wrong.
It's
Okay.
a weekend. It's
No,
like a
but that
lo-
actually is
yeah.
nice because then it prolongs it. Every day we get a little bit of it. It's lovely.
Yeah, for sure it is.
That's the Remarcus version of binging. Watch a little every day.
I wonder if we're ever going to actually get a true binge where we say like we're watching nothing but this show all day.
I could totally binge the Christmas slate show that John is doing.
Yes,
Oh,
Lily and
Li-
Dash.
Yeah,
Lily and Dash. I could
Dash
totally
and
binge
Lily,
that in a day.
Dash and Lily, yeah.
Didn't we sort of do that one weekend for Gilmore? We had like a
Yes,
Yeah,
we
We
did.
have like a film
Yeah.
festival that
What we did? What was I there?
Well, you did
Yes.
multiple episodes
Yeah.
for Gilmore ones.
I want to say we did like 4 in a row, and we were just like,
We did 2
was
in the
crazy.
morning, 2 at night. The next day was 2 in the morning, 2 at night,
Yeah,
and then I think
that's
we
what
did
it
something
was.
on and we did something on.
Yeah, you did a whole weekend of Gilmore Girls. It was a lot of Gilmore Girls.
Got it.
So it was like a Gilmore Girl binge.
Got it. I'm sure that we will do stuff like that.
How did you like watching them put together their little ambulance ship? You know, they're in the junkyards and they're doing things. I thought it was kind of interesting. I always wonder how they got away with building an ambulance, flying it into Serenity, and you know, what did they do with it afterwards too? Like that, to do that job, they had to make a complicated little thing happen without nobody noticing. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think they went back to the junkyard when they were done.
And just dump the working ambulance ship there?
They probably dismantled it so no one else could get it.
Could
but-
have brought it to another planet and dropped it off there.
Sold it.
It's not on Serenity though when he puts Jane into the airlock.
True.
Is it not? I think he was walking beside it. They don't focus on it.
Yeah, because I
But
thought
it
they were
didn't-
unloading it.
That's when they were unloading it in the beginning with Kaylee there. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't,
just don't
I
remember
don't remember.
at the end. I'll have to go back and look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the angles of the camera keep away from the hold, so you don't really see it. But I don't think there's like any indication that they actually removed it because they're supposed to be leaving the atmosphere. Like when he knocks Jane out, he's telling Wash, okay, take us out of the world. So they haven't stopped anywhere. So it's still there. Did I ruin someone's
No,
You
No.
ruined,
Okay.
you ruined Christmas.
Ruined my
Once again. Once again.
Wait a minute. If I'm gonna be accused for doing something once again, I need to know when it happened the first time.
Once again, Mary has ruined Christmas.
You said it's like this happened every year for like
Such a Grinch.